If you want more content from We Studios, check us out at weepodcast.com. That's weepodcast.com. We've got our Simpsons Show Worst Episode Ever. We've got other episodes of 90s Percentile. And, of course, we've got our Sync Points commentary series. 2 new entries this month, Batman 1989, Superman Returns. You can stream them. You can buy our commentary tracks for $2 each at weepodcast.com.
In some cases, it's better than the movie. Not Batman.
In one case.
It's not Batman.
And if you want to support the show,
you can, while you're on WePodcast.com, click through our Amazon links and shop like you normally would. We get a small cut, and that helps keep the podcasts free and keeps the content coming.
Thanks, guys. "60 minutes are on the clock, and straight out of We Studios, this is 90s Percentile. My name is Jack.
And my name is Dan, and we are talking everything 90s and maybe also everything before and after.
And we're talking everything before and after and also 90s with our guest, Harry Nelson. How's it going, Harry?
It's just so good.
Oh,
I'm
great.
great.
So
I'm
good.
happy
That's
to be
great.
here.
All right. Look,
With you
returning
guys.
guest.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah, and
Maybe
actually, Harry has a show, harrysays.yes.com.
that's true. We just recorded an episode.
We just
of it.
recorded an episode
We did.
that's airing the same day this episode's airing. So after this is over, if you still want another hour of content, assuming this hour was just so good you need more.
Absolutely,
And it
which it will be.
Check it out at harrysays.yes.com.
Yes, do that.
Do that
and check out
thing.
his other 96 episodes because that show's almost gone, right?
Yeah,
you
you
got
got to
canceled?
enjoy it. And once it's over, I'm taking them all offline, and no one will ever be able to hear it again.
Burn them in a dumpster.
Yeah.
That's the problem with the internet is like once you put something out there, it's kind of just gone.
It's gone
forever.
right away.
Yeah.
Sad. Yeah.
But no, you're ending it very soon, right?
Yeah, it's almost done.
It's kind of sad. How you're not sad about it?
Nah, who cares?
Like I'm sure. I mean, I get the appeal. You know, you'll kind of just want to move on and do
yeah,
something
don't you just
new.
want to just fucking end this shit?
Yeah.
Yep. Every day. Every damn day.
Just so sick of staring at Dan's face. They're doing like 3 hours a week now. No, don't make that smile.
I don't know. Once it's over, it'll probably just keep going. You know,
Now,
you can't stop.
Is this going to be like Friends, where there's definitely no reunion ever in the future, or are you open to?
There will be a Friends reunion.
You think so?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, like in 10, 20
Yeah,
years,
yeah.
but not soon.
No, not
Phoebe's
soon.
funeral
When they really need the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're not going to do the money. They were paid like $2 million an episode.
They
But
spend-
they bought Ferraris.
They spent around.
Yeah.
Matthew Perry liked to
the
buy some
champagne
things.
fountains.
That's right.
Yeah, the river of chocolate.
Chandler Bing, more like cha-ching, Chandler.
Oh boy.
All right. Not cutting anything. That's something this podcast does.
Yeah, we're not really doing the spiel anymore because we're 11 episodes in.
Right.
If you've listened before, you know what we're doing. If you're new to the show, check out our back catalog. But basically, we do not cut. It is 6. We have a giant clock. It's right now at 57:48, ticking down, and we're just gonna talk about whatever the fuck we feel like based off topics
of your
suggested
90s suggestions.
Now, our guests do get to pick the first topic, or they can spin the wheel.
I'm fine with spinning
and
the
take
wheel.
a random chance.
I'll spin the wheel, but first can I just real quick? I want to
Yeah,
do
you sure
a
can.
shout out to one of your listeners on the Reddit thread for the episode I was on last time.
Yeah.
User PM me, your Jackson Howard said Harry Nelson is my favorite guest on either podcast. And guys, I really loved that.
And
That's
Dan assumed that was you.
I did.
Was not.
I'm still not convinced it's not you,
and
but that's fine.
Do we know if it's a friend of yours who was a carryover from
I
Harry
don't think
Says
so.
Yes?
I think it's just a person who's enjoyed my work here
Okay.
on
I just
the Wii Studios.
don't buy that. I'm just
doesn't make
trying to
sense.
No,
find.
there must be some real reason. Not
I
that they
guess-
like you.
I don't know, whatever
Like
it
they were
is, man.
paid? Did you pay someone?
Really, really made my. Not that I remember. But it really
Okay.
made
No,
my day.
I agree. And we mentioned this on your show that we just recorded. This is about a year ago to the day that we were first on your show, which is when we met you. We had met you the day we recorded your show.
You came outside and said, "Hey, you guys want to do a podcast?" And we're like, "All right,
Yeah.
we are podcasters." Did you know that?
And then since then, we've had you on Wii 3 times, so people could check that out, our Simpsons podcast. And you are now officially our first. Oh no, he's not our.
He's
first
not our
return.
first repeat
You're
90s
you're
guest.
our first,
Jeff is.
You're our first solo repeat guest.
Okay, that
If
is
that's something.
certainly
That's-
something.
There's a lot of qualifiers in there, but you've accomplished something
You're
here
our
today,
first
Harry.
repeat guest named Harry, who wears glasses and had that one comment about him in Reddit.
There you go.
So you know.
My God, your mother must be so proud.
fuck, I gotta call my mom.
Happy Mother's Day, everybody. You thought for a second it was. It's not. All right. So, Harry, you're ceding your guest privilege to choose the first topic?
Yeah, I love your fans and I want to hear what they got for me.
All right.
Oh,
So here we go.
Last time it was Oklahoma City bombing.
Yeah, that's true. All right. So here we go. We got a random topic thing here, and the first topic is ID software games
right?
by Mr. Fart.
Thank you, Mr. Fart.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fart.
id Software.
Yeah, it is id Software
Okay.
games. So we're talking. What are we talking?
Doom?
We're talking Doom. We're talking
Wolfenstein.
Wolfenstein. We're talking the Duke Nukem back before it was
Yeah.
like a shooter. It was like a platformer.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad this came up.
Commander
when it
Keen, I think, was
did.
one of them.
Oh, I love Commander Keen.
That was a good one.
Because a couple of weeks ago, I read a lengthy article about the history of first-person shooters, and there was a lot of id backstory in there.
Yeah.
So I actually feel good that I have some
All right, so
some level of going here.
So we'll do a new topic then.
So, now,
We only want to talk about things we don't know about.
by the way, do either of you guys use magazine apps like Flipboard or Paper?
No.
Not
I
really. I've
love it.
Tried. I've played with it, but
I played with it and I didn't get into it, and then I was using Paper, and now I'm back in on Flipboard. But actually, I like Paper more. But it's great having basically these apps that take articles from all these content generator websites like Vox and
Right.
New York Times and what are some of the pop culture ones?
Uproxx
Yeah,
or
Uproxx.
AV Club.
Yeah, and basically it customizes based on what you like. And you can just get a daily feed. It updates, pretty at least on the hour. And it's I don't know. I find it to be great. Like if I just have a minute to kill, let me just
Is
check out the news.
this how you read about the
about the id software? Yeah.
Is it id? It might be ID. Now that I'm saying
I thought it was
it
like
sounds
your
weird.
like your id
Yeah, I
super
know.
id ego.
I'm gonna look
Super
that up.
ego?
You guys keep talking.
Okay. What's up?
So
Hey.
okay, so I'm assuming. I guess we could just look it up. I forgot. I'm so used to doing the Harry Says Yes podcast where we're not allowed to look
but
things
you put
up.
your phones a fucking way. I'm sorry I'm cursing so much, guys.
Yeah, it's
Well, do more.
Function card.
The people like it. Let's earn the
Yeah,
explicit tag.
the last two episodes, people responded well because we talked about boobies. So
Yeah.
if you can bring up the sex game, Harry.
Well, my favorite sex game is that Madonna one that she played. What was that? Remember Madonna?
I remember
It was
Madonna.
Truth or
I-
Dare.
I remember her.
it's Truth or Dare.
What?
Right? Was it Truth or Dare?
I don't know. What are you
Yeah,
talking about?
She had like a
A sex
video
movie.
or something. Madonna did all sorts of things. Look, Madonna's not the topic, and she certainly will come
but
up at
it,
one
it wasn't a
point.
board game.
No, it was not a board game. Although
would've been great.
I would play that board game with Madonna.
Madonna's
Perhaps.
sex board game.
She's whatever. We'll move on. What am I looking up? id software
Yes,
and or ID software.
I can't really see lowercase id, which is pronounced as did or kid, and in the book Masters of Doom, it is said that the group identified itself as ideas from the deep.
What do you mean did or zid?
Like so pronounced
Like
id.
id.
Yeah.
Like you're
I thought
saying.
you were saying they were pronouncing it did.
Id as in id,
this,
ego,
like,
and superego.
Like not a silent D, the opposite. Like
Yeah,
where you
missing-
pronounce a D
a
that's not
missing
even
D,
there.
yeah.
What would that? Is that,
yeah,
is
it's
that
did
a thing?
software. Sorry, I'm way loud.
Is that a thing? It's got to be a thing, right?
You pronounce a letter that's not there? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
called psychosis.
No, I mean
It's
that's
losing
gotta-
your mind.
That's got to be a lexicological word, right?
All right.
Yeah, there's a thing. There's precedent
Like
there.
it's
Right in.
what's it's the opposite of a silent, a loud D.
a pronounced D.
Yeah. I think that's probably right. Pronounced D.
There we go. If we named our episodes, that would be the name of the episode.
super visible as opposed
Superliminal.
to invisible.
So, yeah,
all right, what do we got here? So founded 1991, late 90s.
Hey, all right.
And
Oh, yeah, Quake was another big game that I never played that they did.
I actually am not familiar with these games besides Doom. I
Doom
didn't
is
play
definitely the
Quake.
biggest one. I played Wolfenstein a little bit
I
back
played
in the
it.
day.
I played it a little bit recently because it's like
the new
new one's supposed
Wolfenstein.
to
no,
not
no, like the old original one.
The one from 1992?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like now you can download it as like an app or something because
Right.
it's such a
There's that website. It's like the
flash game.
the computer museum or something,
Yeah.
and yeah, you can play all
Yeah.
the old DOS games just in your
cool.
browser.
Right. I
It's
think
pretty
that's
cool.
where I played it. Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
pretty much the same as Doom.
I mean, they were all Wolfenstein came first, and then it was
Right.
turned into Doom. It was like instead of Nazis, you're fighting demons and hell.
Yeah, and they were pretty much the first-person shooter games. Well, this article actually went back into the '60s to give you the first first-person shooter game. It was a really good
Right.
article. I wish I remember what it was on.
All right.
But this was the first modern FPS where you've got the little HUD, the heads-up display, and
they innovated all of that, right? Like this was all them.
They came up with most of it. Yeah,
yeah, that's pretty impressive
Yeah.
because that has become the dominant game genre, right?
Call of Duty, Battlefield,
Yeah.
all the big ones now, Destiny. They're
They're
all
nothing without Doom.
Yeah, they all come from Doom and Wolfenstein. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Which I love the first person. I love first person games. I just would never want to play them exclusively. I wouldn't want to play any genre exclusively.
Right.
But I think out of me and Dan, I don't know about you, Harry. I definitely played before I got a full-time job and 2 podcasts. I did play a lot of like Call of Duty and Halo.
Yeah, I never got into like the only first person games I really liked were like the Fallout games, which is like you kind of move back and forth like Skyrim and that.
Yeah,
right.
I love RPGs. Yeah, no, I love just disappearing into those kinds of worlds, and it sucks that there's not enough time in the world. Like just to play a Fallout game, it's like 100 hours.
Yeah, I stopped playing video games completely a few years ago just because there's too much time.
But
there's too many other things to do.
When we started the podcast, I gradually started playing a lot less, and then when we started 90s, I pretty much had 0% now. I'd maybe play an hour a week, if that. Me and my girlfriend try to play some co-op games here and there.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because it's
that's called sex, Jack.
Because we ran out of things to talk about. It's just it's funny with my first person strategy. I'm very good at knowing exactly what I need to do. I'm very good tactically. Like I always know. All right, I'm good at reading people.
Okay.
And I always know. Okay, this player is definitely going to like come up this alley and try to shoot me there because this is what he's thinking. He knows he saw this guy, so he's gonna.
And you're talking about other players like online,
other human players.
Play.
I'm just very good at knowing what they're gonna do. Not just first person shooters, but when we're playing hockey and stuff. I'm very good at knowing what somebody's thinking. It's like.
How come we're not cashing in on this and using you as a mind reader?
So my problem is I know exactly what I'm going to do. I could set him up. I'm going to set up this great trap, and I got him. I'm so good at that, but I'm such a shitty player. Like I have terrible aim, and I'm just bad with controls. Like there's a disconnect between my hand and my eye.
Right. Poor hand-eye coordination.
Yeah, so it sucks. So like I do play a lot of those games, and I'm a stealth guy, and I like sneaking up on people, and because I'm that good, I get away with doing decent. But if I could just fucking shoot somebody at point blank range and not miss, I'd be great. And it's just such a bummer. It's the same with me and friend of the show, Jeff, again, repeat guest. We used to play a lot of hockey.
Now, I love that now there's a rivalry between Harry and Jeff. I want to fan that flame. Jeff said something real bad about you on his episode. You should go back and listen to it.
Well, we play a lot of hockey, and it's like I always know where this player is going to do with the puck, and then I trip. Somehow it's a video game, and I still trip over my skates as it's falling. I go through the glass. I hit the guy with the hot dog. The hot dog goes up in the air. Ketchup lands on like this stuffy businessman who's like sitting at the.
And then your rival, who's like Studs McCool, like grabs the hot dog in midair and takes a bite. And he's like, "You fall again, Pico."
Yeah, EA put a lot of effort into the new NHL
They
game.
really, really did. I want to talk about Doom for a second, because I think Doom is probably the one we're the most familiar with, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the parallel unit, they open up a teleporter and it accidentally teleports demons from Mars
into hell onto Mars.
They're on Mars, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
saw that. Did you see that?
We
movie?
all saw the Rocks movie.
Yeah.
Spoilers, kind of very similar to the Mist, the story behind the Mist.
Sort of. I actually don't remember the end of Mist, and I guarantee you Mist is going to come up in that topic generator another day. So
that's a 90s short story?
Mist the game?
I'm talking about The Mist, the Stephen King
I thought you were talking about the video game because it was around at the same time as Doom.
Stephen King's The Mist is the same premise where the army is doing teleportation experiments and accidentally brings in demons from not hell.
It's not the army. It's just I don't think
Navy?
you know what it is. It was the Navy.
The Coast Guard.
Right? It was the Navy and the Coast Guard. No, I actually think it ties into the Dark Tower somehow, but we won't get into that. But yeah, you're right. They opened up. If I remember right, they're creatures from like the bleed between universes, like giant monsters, basically.
I mean, actually,
that's a good movie too.
Not really I guess it's almost its own sci-fi trope because Event Horizon was kind of the same thing where they hit warp speed.
I feel like Event Horizon was definitely inspired by Doom.
Okay, yeah, because they do both. Yeah, they do warp speed or speed of light or something, and then that opens a gate to hell.
Right. Yeah, and then everyone starts bleeding. It's a fucked up movie.
Everybody said that movie really holds up and it's really great. And I watched it for the first time as an adult, like at 25, and I was like, "This is terrible."
Yeah,
it's not a great movie.
I'll watch it tonight.
It's not a great movie.
I'm gonna watch it tonight.
It's not a great movie.
Jeff
wouldn't watch it. Oh. Jeff wouldn't watch it. But no, specifically what I want to talk about with Doom is, do you guys remember how Doom came pre-installed on a lot of computers, or it was passed around that they had the shareware? Like Doom was really big in the shareware thing, which it doesn't really.
People were modding
I guess it sort of happens now. No. We're Doom was like a 5-part game, and the first part was free. Like you could get it for free at like CompUSA or wherever, whatever people were doing in the 90s to get games. You could get it for free, and like so everybody had the first part, and then you had to buy the other parts.
Oh, that's funny because that model is very popular now.
It is, yeah.
The episodic
Freemium games.
Yeah.
Yes. Doom was very big on that, and it was. I remember back in the day, it was. You picked the level for Doom, and I don't remember what they were, but the worst one was "Get Me Out of Here" or something like that.
Yeah, like I'm a Wimp is easy.
Yeah. I played on I'm a Wimp because while I love scary movies and things, video games are a completely different world. Like I don't like having something be behind me and I turn around and it's like,
I love that.
I hate that.
Dead Space is a really good horror game.
Like, have you ever played Five Nights at Freddy's?
No,
I fucking hate it. It's terrible. But
You have a Google Cardboard. Have you done any of the horror apps?
Yeah.
No, and I probably
those
won't.
are my favorites.
I don't like
I
that
want
stuff.
to try all that stuff out.
Because
have you? Tried
No,
them?
I want to. Like, I'm really looking forward to when VR is just like a thing that we all.
Yeah.
Do you want to try one right now? I have a horror app, and we will live record you.
Sure. Yeah. We can.
How long will this take to set up?
Yeah, there's a countdown.
Well, let's talk it.
Okay.
I only need 2 minutes to set it up.
All right, you go do that. I'm going to keep talking about why I don't like horror video games. Because when you're watching a movie, you know it's a movie, and it's like I just don't like the idea of turning around and there's something behind me because it's too real.
Yeah, it would be.
I know that the Predator's not really behind me in Dutch. He's behind Dutch, but
there's a new Predator movie. Not to change that.
we can talk about Predator for sure.
No, I think that the horror games in general scare me.
Yeah.
I grew up playing like Resident Evil and stuff, and like
I played some of the Resident Evils, but I was never super into it.
Yeah, it's those were like interesting because it was like the camera angles were locked, so like you just had to see like from like you couldn't move the camera around,
right?
Which like made it feel really claustrophobic and stuff. But
definitely,
when VR becomes like a thing, I think that, and maybe we'll see. Well, you have like a whole
he's got a whole setup.
So
here.
I bought a Google Cardboard, which is those $15 cardboard.
Right, it's Google's VR thing.
Sets.
Yeah,
and I got it, and I showed my girlfriend, and I was like, "You should check this out." She's like, "I don't know." I was like, "Check it out." She fell in love with it.
Yeah.
And the Google Cardboard is not great. It's cardboard, and it kind of fell apart.
To explain a little bit more what it is, you basically put your phone into a headset if you have an Android phone, or I think you can actually use an Apple phone.
Yeah, and the app, if you have a VR app, you just get the apps from your app store or whatever. They're usually split screen for 3D. You know, one for your left eye, one for your right eye.
Yep.
So what the goggles basically does is make it one image.
Right, exactly. And there's a whole YouTube channel of 3D videos that you can do. It's pretty cool.
Anyway, my girlfriend fell in love with it, and it fell apart that first night, and she felt bad. So she bought this like nicer plastic one. This was like $25.
Yeah.
And it's much better.
That was probably the smart move.
It's for a smartphone.
Yeah. But Doom, I'm trying to remember, was Doom a game you could control the camera? I think it might have also been like static.
Yeah, it was definitely
like you could only
it was
first person,
just,
right?
Like,
that makes sense.
And they would build to make it to run faster. They would build the entire map pretty much in one physical space, and there was just walls that they put up.
Oh yeah.
My personal favorite thing with Doom was using all the cheat codes, like
never
the
knew.
God mode.
The fun was the.
I still remember them: IDDQD, IDKFA.
That's one of the things they pioneered was having the different guns, the different arsenal. That was one of the things.
Yeah, the BFG 900, the big fucking gun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, all from Doom. All fun stuff. But I kind of am realizing as I'm talking about it, I liked this when I was a kid. I really don't like first-person shooters all that much.
No, I'm not a huge fan of them either.
It's...
Like, I like platformer games and puzzle games, and that's pretty much it.
In terms of an immersive world, like Fallout or something, your run-and-gun shooters don't have that, obviously. Yeah. But I like... It's the easiest game for me to pick up and play for a half hour. It would be
that makes sense.
5 to 10 minute death matches online. Like those I really play for the competition. I love playing against other humans. I fell in love with it very early. Me and you used to play Rainbow Six on our PCs.
Yes, we did. Yeah, way back in the day.
That was the first time I ever had an online play. Mm-hmm. And I just really fell in love with that aspect of playing with other people. We also played Clue, the board game.
We did play Clue online
with other
a lot,
people,
which was fun.
And I was just amazed that I was playing with other people. And when I played Call of Duty at its height, I had a clan. Like I wasn't in a clan, but I had a group of friends that I had randomly like amassed.
Just a grand wizard under whom you marched.
I never met in real life, and
because you all had hoods over your faces.
Clan with a K. That's great. So yeah. So clan is a gaming term.
Yeah.
People play together.
Fun. Yeah,
and
it's not a game to some people.
Anyway, I know I came, especially these guys from Winnipeg that all knew each other in real life. I like teamed up with them and some guys in Virginia, and it was so much more fun playing with people as a unit.
Yeah.
And like, you know, it was just, you got,
Right.
and then once my microphone broke, and now that I can't really communicate with the people I'm playing with, I kind of fell out of it. My point is, I really like the social aspect.
See,
of it.
I was never into the social aspect of
Yeah,
it,
same.
and I love like in college I played Halo all the time. Like we would play System Link Halo
Yeah.
in my house,
yeah,
like
but it was
4
way
on
more
4.
fun playing with.
Well,
4
with
on 4.
but it was with actual people.
Yeah.
And it was like I'm in the room with them, and we could scream out upstairs to the other
Yeah,
guys.
that's
like,
what I'm
"Fuck you
saying.
guys."
That's way more fun than playing with a bunch of strangers online.
Oh yeah. Oh, I completely agree. Once Halo 2 came out and it was like the online play, like certain people of our group who were really into Halo broke off and were just playing online and then never wanted to play like with us anymore. And so
Yeah.
the people who weren't as into it and was kind of like a group thing, we
Yeah.
just stopped playing video
I
games
like
altogether.
that too, though. I really like once you go online, it's hard to go back to split screen because I don't want to know
That's
where
true.
you are,
Sure.
and even though you're not supposed to look at the other guy's screen, you can't.
Yeah.
It's not even that you're cheating; it's just it's there.
It's
Right.
just like once people started playing online, like the level of experience, like people got so good at it that it was just like I was always like
Exactly,
I'm okay,
that's the
but,
other
like,
thing.
I
Yeah,
can't-
like I'm not as good as these people.
I'm
And
just
it's
gonna
not
get
fun
murdered
to
all the
play
time.
against these like 12-year-olds who can only do this, who play this game all day when
Yeah.
I have a job and I'm just playing for like an hour
Yeah.
after work.
That's why I like don't really play games online. Like I tend to like games where I'm just like in an infinite world, just like by myself.
Yeah. I just want to be completely alone.
Yeah,
and just
that's
totally
why I can't wait till
isolated.
VR is a thing.
Yeah.
That way I can-
Well,
Then I'd never even need to leave my house.
I mean, I love those games because they're so immersive, but there is this certain thing where I'm in the back of my head, I'm like, I'm shutting myself off, and it takes a little bit away from the fun that I knew because I'm self-aware that I'm doing it.
It depends on what you want from a video game. Like some people want to just play like a shooter game, like a Halo or Call of Duty or whatever, and it's like a sport to them. Like they just want to shoot people and get out their aggression or whatever. And some people want to explore a world and disconnect from their lives.
yeah, that's what I'm all about.
I want to disconnect from my horrible life. That's what I want.
To me, the perfect game would be one of those big, giant, immersive worlds where you can play with friends, which I guess exists. I guess that's World of Warcraft and why that's
Sure.
so popular.
Or Minecraft
But-
even.
which I haven't.
never played
I've
Minecraft.
never downloaded Minecraft because I'm so afraid
don't-
don't
that
do
if
it.
I do it, I'll just be
I've
hooked.
lost
I kind of
lot
think
of time.
I would just be so hooked on Minecraft.
And there's a few times where I'm so bored or something, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I could just all I have to do is literally like press the fucking app button.
because
on my
then you're playing like immersive Legos, and that kind of sounds
It's
awesome.
the best
Well,
thing.
It's the best thing.
I
Don't
love
tell
it.
me that.
Like I don't play it anymore because
Yeah.
if I did, like
It's
I
too
understand
good.
people who like are like obsessed with World of Warcraft or whatever, and they're just like I
Yeah.
just can't do it anymore because I flunked out of school because all I did was play
Oh,
World of Warcraft.
right. Oh
I
my
just-
God.
I can't like have
And you hear the-
relationships with people and play Minecraft.
Yeah, right, exactly. And you hear the horror stories of people being like, they played World of Warcraft so much that like they died or like they stopped
Sure,
eating. Like
yeah.
you always hear these weird stories on the
Yeah.
news, and it's always in another country, which makes it hard to actually check up on.
Yeah. Well, I knew people in college who like flunked out freshman year because they just
Really?
like they never went to class. They had a high speed internet connection for the first time, and they just like, no parent supervision, so they were just like in
They
their
were just
dorm,
like, I can do whatever I want.
yeah, playing like League of Legends all the time and just
Oh,
like never.
jeez. Yeah, that's tough because that is just like some people are not ready for the responsibility of college.
Yeah, I mean we're
You
not.
know,
all-
as Spider-Man always said, Harry, with great power comes great
I mean-
responsibility.
We played some Mario Kart and some and like NBA Jam in college, but it was right before there was like an Xbox Live and online gaming.
Yeah,
But
that came when like I think we were seniors
right
in college.
at the end. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I wonder if I did have the free time I had. In college, and like maybe I would have just disappeared into like one of those worlds. The problem
Maybe.
is you really got to just pick one. Like I would love to play Minecraft, but I feel like you can't half-ass it. You got to get good at it. You got to put a lot of hours into
Nah,
it.
Yeah.
it's fine. You
All
can
right,
casually
I was
play,
wrong.
guys. It's the best thing ever. We should stop playing.
We
this
should,
and play
we should
Minecraft.
start playing Minecraft
All right,
right now.
so I have the horror app. It's a short, like 4 or 5 minute video.
Okay.
You're gonna be in a hotel room or something.
All right.
So I'm gonna put it over your head, and we're gonna audio record your response. Actually,
Oh, boy.
maybe we should video record it too and put it on
I mean,
our website or
it's-
something.
I'm
If
not. I'm
Harry's
not.
cool
I'm not
with it.
yeah, that's fine. I'm not a very hugely reactive person. It might be a letdown.
it might just be him going,
That.
all right, look at
We'll
that.
make it look key. There's a knob on top and there's a knob on the side. These
All
are your
right.
focus. It's probably gonna be a little blurry for you at first, and you have to make it fit your eyes. So
Okay.
this knob and these knobs. Throw these.
Okay,
Throw those headphones on.
guys, this is good.
This is good
This is-
podcasting.
yeah.
Oh, damn. You know.
I'm sorry, PM me, you're Jackson Howard. I'm really letting you down on this one.
Well, while you're still setting it up, I just wanted to say Minecraft like is low res and kind of looks like Doom in a way. Like
yeah.
it's very similar aesthetic.
The
Blockiness
blocky, yeah.
and the pixelation.
Well, yeah, I mean that's.
I'm sure Minecraft does it out of necessity because it's a huge open world.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
building
I thought
block
it was like
game.
an aesthetic choice, but you're right. I
It
guess,
could be an aesthetic choice
that
too,
makes
but
sense.
I always think it looks like Doom. Like when you would shoot in Doom, it would be like a glowing pixel that would just like.
Yeah, that guy's face. How's it look?
Yeah.
It's kind of black.
Do you see the word sisters anywhere? Look around.
No. Should I see the word?
Yeah, I am now video recording Harry.
You have to find the menu.
Although it's
Oh,
very
there.
blurry.
Oh, you know why? It's because when I set it up, I'm facing you, so now you have to turn around. So this is great video. We're going to be watching the back
we're gonna
of
watch
your
the
head.
back of Harry. But there he is. He's in a virtual world right
Is it
now.
loud enough?
Yeah.
Now what is happening? He's in some sort
So
of hotel.
he's at a hotel. The name of the app is called Sisters.
Okay.
So VR apps are pretty much just demos right now because that's all they can hold, unless you get like an Oculus or something.
Sure.
So he's looking around right now. He's in a hotel room. It's raining. There's like static on the TV. It's very creepy.
I gotta
aesthetic.
say, Harry has a face of glee on. Like he's just been smiling the entire time you've been doing this.
I don't like this.
Harry, I'm gonna guide you to my chair so you can spin around.
Okay.
I just like, oh god.
Yeah, you're cool. Just take.
I like that
baby
you're
steps.
smiling and you're just like, I don't like this.
Alright, the lights went out, guys.
Oh,
You're right. All right, you're okay.
we're good.
Alright, can you... I don't know if the listeners can hear... I don't know where the microphone is.
It's right in front of you now.
You got it in front of you.
Hey, hey, everybody. So I'm in a room. It's a real creep show over here.
What's describe the room?
Is a door. I just heard a creaking door, and it's an empty room. There's a sheathed figure.
Oh boy.
Or something.
If we were really
Oh,
mean,
lights.
we could just like
Lightning
smack
just
Harry.
happened.
Well, my sister was doing. We did this on Easter, and my sister did it.
Yeah.
And my dad's a prankster. He went up
Just
and
waiting for.
my dad was like, "I'm gonna
Okay.
scare. I'm gonna
Creepy
sneak up." And I
girl
told him
on
like,
the TV.
"Don't. The app is so good at it. The app's doing a better job than you.
Then,
We don't
yeah,
need
yeah.
like if we tapped on his shoulder, it would be less
I'll tell you
scary."
that if I was doing this by myself, I would have stopped by now. Birds are flying around.
Nothing scarier than birds.
Yeah. Well,
There
ask
seems
Alfred
to be
Hitchcock, my
blood
friend.
coming from the ceiling.
This sounds horrible. I do not
Oh,
want to do this.
I love this app.
This is exactly the thing I hate, and that Harry also said he hated.
I can't hear you if you're talking.
No, it's okay. It's called Sisters
All I
VR,
hear is
by
a
the
creepy
way.
little girl.
That's one of the sisters.
Oh, that's cool.
Hello, Harry.
Little ghost girl, one of our worst episode ever Simpsons characters.
I'm making
Oh, there
a
she
guest
is.
appearance. Hello.
There's a ring type figure coming. Ah, there she is.
He literally is convulsing with fear
that
right
was
now.
yeah.
That's fine. I just jumped. I'm not convulsing.
Nope, you're convulsing, and we have it on video.
No, your chest. It was convulsing.
Cool. Hey, the lights are on. I think everything's gonna be okay.
That's it. You got. I think you got another minute left.
Oh no! Wait, this is basically like a ride,
She's
huh?
laughing.
Like
Yeah.
it's a set thing.
Ah, there she is. Hello, little girl.
Hello.
It'll go to credits when it's over.
She's-
You are my
she's- There's
favorite
a little
guest.
doll girl sitting next to me, looking at me, breathing heavily. It's a real. Don't care much for it. She's just looking at me.
Harry's
I don't know if I'm
opinion.
supposed
Don't
to
care
do
much for
anything.
it. Is she gonna like lunge out at him? She definitely is.
Looking
Oh,
at
I
her.
see.
Harry, you got. I think you got to turn around. Turn around
There's
your
gonna
mic.
be- oh, there's a creep. There's something scary behind me.
No, the microphone's there.
Oh yeah, there she is. All right. Well, I don't like that.
All right.
Do you want
confirmed.
to try? Do you want to cleanse your palate and try like a happy space shuttle one or something?
No, that's
Okay.
fine. I think I'm just done with VR.
You've turned him off of an entire genre of thing.
Just a little advanced future technology on our 90s podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
Hopefully that was not the worst thing ever.
Well, what Harry just went through is how I always felt playing Doom, specifically Doom 2, late at night in my attic by
Well,
myself
I was
in
gonna
the
say,
dark.
if the lights are out and you're in front of the TV,
Yeah.
it gets almost as immersive. But
Yeah.
you can imagine how with the VR, really,
Yeah.
you know it's fake, but your brain's telling you you're in this room.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a ghost behind you.
How would you really hated that? Was that terrible?
It was just like, I definitely would have stopped had
Yeah,
I
yeah,
not
yeah.
been
Right.
in a thing. But I also that's cool.
It's cool that you're in this immersive thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I get scared shitless, but I'm a baby. But I like that. I love horror movies. I love like Paranormal Activity, the first one. I was like one of the few movies where I was covering my eyes. I was like, I don't want to see this. Like the tension, and I love that. Whereas my girlfriend refuses to watch movies like that.
See, I love movies like that because when this jump scare or whatever it is happens, I know I'm actually safe. Like nothing's really gonna touch me. I don't like being touched.
Yeah.
I don't like.
Do you go to like a haunted house or anything
No,
like that?
I hate those.
Yeah.
I don't like those because
Like, I've done
I don't
them.
trust the people doing them.
Exactly.
They're just like they're just
Exactly.
stupid carnies, and it's just
Yeah.
like.
You never trust a carny with your life. That's word to live by.
We went to like
You have a code.
the wax museum. Oh, it was either a wax museum or the Museum of Natural History. It was like a non-haunted house place.
Yeah.
On a double date, and they had a haunted house exhibit, and we were like, "Is this it? Is this it?" You know how museum exhibits are. It's always in a weird corner in the hallway.
Right.
So like, is this it? And they're like, Steve, we got some. So I just like
Now
saw,
you know Steve's gonna show up.
So like I see the guy
Spoilers.
on his phone. He's just like, he puts in his pocket and he just like goes in through a back door. I was like, well, I know that's the ghost now. And then so we walk through it. And he's just like half-assed.
He's just like, hey, I'm Steve.
Yeah, he's like, it's just I was just it really took me out of
Yeah,
it.
that sounds.
The ghost of Steve.
But games like
You didn't know I died from the last time you saw me.
but nobody's touching you with games like Doom,
No, they're not. But not.
right? Am I
Doom
wrong?
is fine,
No,
but
you're
it's
not
it's because it's from the first person's perspective. It's too immersive for me. I need the boundary.
And that's funny because compared to VR, playing a 8-bit game or 16-bit game is not immersive at all. But it's funny just getting into that first person. That's the jump.
Yeah, that's the barrier
That's
for
the
me.
line. That's
Like it doesn't matter if
interesting.
it's Doom or like perfect VR rendition. I'm not gonna play a horror game.
Have you seen the commercials or the ads for this new movie that's coming out, Hardcore?
Yes, I
Oh,
have.
yeah.
Hardcore Harry.
It's entirely in first person.
Hardcore Harry. Yeah,
It's me,
Yes.
guys. Check out my new movie, Hardcore Harry.
Yeah, the entire movie.
It's
It's
all
an
first
action
person.
movie, and it's in first person. I don't know. I dig first person, and I don't get queasy. I don't know if I could watch a whole
I
movie
think
like that.
it might make me sick to watch a whole movie like that.
What about did Cloverfield make you sick?
No, Cloverfield I was fine, but yeah, that's a good point. All right, well, I probably won't get sick.
Great.
Harry, you made a great point.
Did you use the Doom movie had like the whole last part was in first person?
Yes,
Yeah,
that
I
was
didn't
one of the coolest
see it.
parts
Yeah.
of the Doom
Oh,
movie.
It's pretty
it
cool.
worked?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I just watched something else that just did that. Oh,
Was it The Beach with Leonardo
No,
DiCaprio?
the new Sacha Baron Cohen movie opens up with
Oh.
a big action sequence that's entirely in first person, and you see
Okay.
like Doom first person, where you see the arms in front of you.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
I guess that's becoming more of a thing, like first
Well,
person.
Yeah, they're responding to the
Well, but it's different.
that
like
demographic
when
that
you
plays
can,
those games.
When you can control it in a game, I feel like that's so much different than watching it in a movie.
Yeah, I don't
They
care
had done
for it.
first-person movies. I want to say Hitchcock did one, but I don't think it was Hitchcock. It was someone around the same time.
Didn't Thomas Edison have a first
I think it
person
was
view where
DOA.
he wore a camera in front of his face and you watched him as he killed an elephant?
Yeah, I love
No.
that. That was a good one.
There is a movie where Thomas Edison killed an elephant, but it wasn't
Yeah.
in first person.
The
Sorry, my 18th century humor, my 19th century humor is going over
That's better
people's
for
heads
1890s
on this
percentile.
90s I'm knocking over more stuff than you were with your goggles on.
yeah, can't wait to see that video. I'm sure it looks great.
We don't have to publish it if you don't want us to.
I'm sure it's fine. I'm great. I look great, guys. I can't wait till you see me. What was I gonna say? Never mind.
All
What's
right.
up, everybody? VR movies will probably be a thing pretty soon.
So here's the thing about VR movies, though. What's it going to? It's going to be completely different than movies now, because movies now are very chosen choices made by the director or cinematographer or whoever. Like, you're looking at this. What's it going to be like
Well,
when you can look at anything?
So it's brand new. So there's obviously no set rules, but we've been, we have a VR camera where I work, and we've been trying to come up with some ideas. And some of it is that you, even though it's 360, that's really just to get you in the world and immerse you, but you still can use subtle clues to guide them where you want to look.
Right, I'm sure
Basically-
there will be a story told.
Yeah.
It would probably be a lot like. Are you guys familiar with Sleep No More?
Yes.
Have you guys been to Sleep No More?
No, I'm
Yeah.
dying to go.
I
but
went.
it's
I
so
went,
expensive.
yeah. Believe it or not, I went to that, even though I don't
Yeah, I
like
was gonna
these
say, it's like a
immersive
haunted
things.
house.
Well, it is, but they don't touch you, or they
That's true.
actually. Well, they might.
For people who
'cause
don't know,
some-
it's Macbeth.
Yeah,
right?
it's Macbeth. It's done in this old hotel that is just for this now. They took over, or it's made to look like an old hotel. It's a play. The play Macbeth happens around you, and you can go wherever you want in this hotel. So you can find an actor and follow them and see the story from their perspective. You can. One of the strangest moments of my life what happened when I went to Sleep No
Yeah,
More.
what-
Did you go to the basement?
Probably. Which
There is an orgy in the basement,
yeah.
and it's like a rave, and there's
Yeah.
like a minotaur.
It's not real
and there's like
simulated,
blood.
right?
Yeah. But you're still there,
yeah,
and
and
it's
there's
happening
nudity and
around you.
stuff.
It's everyone is naked. Like you're seeing swinging dicks and
Really?
flapping boobs.
I know your
Man.
listeners like that. They do.
Yeah,
have
they
No
do.
wonder it's so expensive. They must pay those actors a lot of money.
Yeah.
And they're like they're great. Like they like flip around and like do like cool dancey
So go
stuff.
to the
Yeah.
basement, huh?
Yeah, the basement was crazy.
It was
You have to
surreal.
do it multiple times to get everything, right?
Yeah,
You
but
don't have time to see
Well, what
everything?
happens is they do depends on what time you go, but they redo the show up until the end, and then it starts over again, and they only do the end once. At one point, like they start closing areas off, and everyone is funneled into
in.
like the biggest
Right.
room.
So VR would do the same thing where they don't have to. It could be totally open.
Well, it would
But-
make sense. You could follow certain
but a lot of
actors
them,
and get
yeah.
the story from their perspective.
Exactly.
But-
I mean, it would also be like which something will sleep no more. Just a murder mystery where you go to
Yeah.
those dinner theater ones.
I mean,
and-
I love stuff like that.
So you're just in the play.
yeah.
As opposed to being in a movie, but
Well-
in that sense, a VR movie is pretty much just that. It's
Do you
just a
think every
cinematic version.
VR movie would be
No,
you
it's
are
gonna-
a character?
No, it's gonna be there's gonna be
Yeah.
lots of options. There's gonna be all different ways of doing it.
And I think it's going to get rid of the theater. Like, you're not going to go to a movie theater to do a VR movie because you're just going to put a headset on and disconnect anyway. Like, it'll probably be an at-home thing.
Oh yeah. VR,
Which,
I mean, there
I
will
love
be,
going to
well,
the movies still.
Yeah,
Well,
people
no,
will still find an excuse to go
No,
to them.
arcades are going to come back. Arcades were huge in the 80s and disappeared
you
in the
think?
90s.
Yeah, maybe.
Now VR arcades are going to be a thing where they will put you in rooms where the lighting and the fans and the wind and stuff can
yeah.
be
And they have that
also
omnidirectional
yeah,
treadmill
it will
thing.
be synced in with the omnidirectional so that if you turn 7 steps left and walk 14 steps up and you touch the wall,
Right.
the computer knows to make that wall feel like brick. Something like that. So you're going to need a
Well, that's way out. That's...
no, they've already
Yeah.
started building stuff like that.
Yeah, but
So
that's not
it won't
happening
be out
this
next
year.
No,
Like,
it
the
won't-
Oculus
it
and
won't be
everything's
out
coming
next
out
year,
this
but
year.
it'll be out by the end of the decade, and it's only going to get better and better.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling arcades are actually going to start making money again because it's you'll have to pay probably $40-$50 as opposed to doing it at
that
home
makes sense.
and buying a $5.
Because they can have the top of the line equipment and give you the
Exactly,
best possible
exactly.
experience better than you can do at home.
Exactly.
I
There are things-
love that we talk about the future so much on this 90s podcast,
Well,
by the way.
I mean,
But
that's
sorry,
the
Harry,
point.
I didn't want to cut you off.
That's why we do that because the 90s is the past and informs the future. I think it's a very relevant thing to talk about.
It happened before and it will happen again.
That's right.
They have like arcade, like laser tag type places now that
Yeah.
you can go to and like wear VR headsets and
Yep.
like run around
Oh,
with
that's
your
very
friends
cool.
and like fake shoot everybody.
And I'm
Yeah.
guessing it's either the VR is mapped to the room or it's AR, where basically if there's a fucking wall in your
That's
way,
augmented
the VR,
reality.
Yeah, ARs are augmented. The VR will tell you there's a wall in your way, so there's no danger of bumping into things. Even though technically you're blind.
yeah.
Well, you could just have like glasses that you actually do see through them, but there's like a
So
heads up
that's
display
AR,
type
yeah.
thing. Right. That would be cool. I'd be so super into that. Like a laser tag that had like your kills on the glasses and
That would be very
projected
cool, yeah.
like things that don't exist in real life.
That would be awesome. Well,
That would be awesome.
I have some apps. I haven't really used any. I've been playing with the VR a little bit, but I have some apps where you can watch movie files you've already downloaded. So, like, I have Iron Man 3 on iTunes. I
Sure.
bought it. I could go into a VR app that simulates a movie theater, and it will shrink the screen in a way that it looks like it's 60 feet away from me, but on a big screen.
Huh.
So I'm in the movie theater. Now I'm watching it. I'm watching it not quite how... I guess it would be very similar if you're sitting on a couch and looking at a big TV.
Yeah.
But there's something about it that makes it feel like you're in the movie. Obviously, if
So-
you turn left and right, there's seats and exit signs and stuff. But
Yeah, so two things about that. I think that is, if VR takes off, that's going to become a thing where you're going to have like a virtual living room,
Yeah.
and like I could watch a show with you.
Yeah.
And I turn and I see you there. I don't know how that would
An
work. You need like
avatars
a
or a real
Xbox.
camera, yeah.
What do they call that thing?
The
Connect.
Connect.
the bigger VRs, the non-phone ones, they do use cameras. You set up cameras in the corners of your room, and that's
really?
that's how it's measuring your motion.
Oh,
yeah.
that makes sense.
And Sony, I think, is going to use their Move, but I think what's the other one? Valve. I think Valve. You have to put things in the corner of your room, and that measures where you
The
are in
Vive.
space.
I think you mean the Vive.
Well, I know Valve has one out.
Valve?
Yeah,
Like
the
the
video game.
Like
Yeah.
Steam.
Yeah, Steam.
Oh,
Yeah. I think it's
they
Steam
have
and-
they have their
yeah, it's
own
more
virtual reality thing.
set that's very big. Yeah, it's one of the
Oh.
big three. You have Oculus, PlayStation.
You sure it's not the Vive? Because the Vive is one of the big
That's
three.
HTC, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, I don't know if that's the Steam one.
The Oculus and
Maybe it is the
Sony
Steam one.
has one.
I know Steam has one. I don't know if it's one
Okay.
of those three or if it's a different one.
Well, they have a branding problem because I'm getting confused. But the other thing I was going to say is
keep forgetting that we have the internet.
you'll
here.
also be
We could just look it
sharing,
up.
you can have that shared living room experience with a VR thing, but also I heard about this crazy thing. Talk about the future. There is going to be a headset called the Glyph. Have you guys heard about this?
No.
You put it on your eyes. It's like you look like Cyclops kind of, or like Geordie LaForge from Star Trek.
That's awesome. I
You
haven't
put
heard
that.
about
You
this.
put that on. It beams light directly into your retina,
yeah.
so there's no screen, but you can watch stuff on it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if you're sitting on an airplane, you put this thing on, you put your headphones on, it's like you're in a movie theater and there's no screen, it's just in your eye.
The only advantage
That's crazy.
That's much more advanced technology than looking at a screen. Is the only
Yeah.
advantage that it's smaller?
The advantage is there's no eye strain because you can't like watch VR, you're not going to be able to do it for hours and hours on end.
Oh,
Supposedly.
you'll see.
Well, I can't do it for like 5 minutes before I get motion
one
sickness.
of the problems with watching anything in 3D is that your brain has to work to process it, and the theory is that if you go see a 2.5 hour 3D movie, for 2.5 hours your brain has to take it. You're taking two images at once. You just don't realize it. And the brain's combining them.
Well,
and
yeah, but
that's
that's-
why you get headaches.
But that's happens
Yeah.
every single day of your life if you have two eyes. You're
Oh, yeah,
combining
right.
images.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't have a problem with 3D movies. It's 3D,
So I wonder what.
the simulated reality, like where you turn and it's not quite the
Right.
actual
Well,
turn.
isn't
That fucks with
isn't
me.
VR only becoming a thing now because the game is the software is fast enough where you won't be slightly off?
I think it will get to
It's
that
not
point,
there
but
yet?
it's certainly not there with like using my phone with Google Card.
Oh,
Yeah,
I feel
I
like
think
it is
I think the
kinda
new
there.
like Oculus will be like it's going to be like so good that they're trying to.
I mean,
defeat
that's
that
why
problem.
we're talking about VR now. This kind of technology's been around for 30 years. It's only
Right.
becoming
Oh, I had a
real-
Virtual Boy, Jack. I know.
It's only becoming a thing now because when you do turn your head left, the computer can keep up.
Right. But here is a question: do you think they will port Doom onto VR? I bet they
100%,
will,
100%.
because
That's
they
a
always
great
port
idea.
Doom onto everything, and
Yeah.
that would be cool. I actually would play
That's a
like
very
3D VR Doom if it looked all pixelated and stuff.
That's
I would play
very-
that.
That is very cool. It's almost like I haven't read it yet, but Ready Player One.
Yeah,
is that
great-
similar?
great book.
It is, yeah.
I'm debating whether to. I am a very slow reader, and I've just gotten into Audible in the last few weeks, and
Yeah.
I'm like addicted. I'm debating whether to just listen to it.
I listened to it. Yeah, Will Wheaton does the.
Oh, that's a good choice.
What was his Star Trek name?
Oh my
Crusher.
god,
Crusher.
Wesley Crusher, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good book. But in there, the thing is a lot more like the Futurama internet, where you like plug in
Right,
and it's
right.
like a totally immersive thing.
Well, that could have something. Like, there's
That
there's
would
so
be cool
many.
if we had Futurama internet.
Look, there's going to
I'm
be
into that.
lots and lots of applications, and then a few will just rise to the top. Like compared to Xbox Live, PlayStation Home, I think it was called.
PlayStation Network.
Yeah, well, the PS Network, they had a thing, or still probably still do, called PlayStation Home, where
Oh,
you,
yeah,
you
yeah, I
have a
remember that.
house, and like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
played this one game, and I got an achievement, so I unlocked a map from that game, and then that was where my house was, and you could walk around and you see other players like walking around with their avatars, and you could
Yeah.
interact with them, but there was nothing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
there
could
will be
s-
more things to do in the future.
I
You're
could,
saying.
I could see the VR having something like that.
Well,
but
with our teledildonics conversation from last week,
Well, I was-
that's what you'll be doing.
I was thinking about this with the teledildonics.
You could open a brothel in your PlayStation home.
We didn't mention this last week, but the idea was with the teledildonics is that you could be having sex with somebody live, across the country.
Right.
But what if you could just download predetermined
Oh, definitely.
sensors?
I was thinking of that too.
Yeah, so like you could just download a blowjob from the famous porn
well,
star.
they
X.
do that now in the now version of that, where they will do molds of a porn star
yeah. Right.
thing, and you can buy a. You talked about it last week. Your
Yeah.
friend had a
So
weird
it's
torso.
very interesting that if you're like, oh, I really love this blowjob, I'm just going to
Yeah,
play
I'm
this one
sure
over and over.
there will be a Pornhub in the future where you
And
just
then, yeah,
download
and
that
I don't know if
stuff.
we talked about this with the teledildonics, but it'll easily be paired up with the VR.
Yeah.
where-
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you could just
Guys, we're not going to leave our houses eventually.
Yeah,
we're
it's gonna
becoming
be-
Wall-E,
it's gonna
but
be
we're all
that-
going to be in a
no,
virtual
it's gonna
world.
be that Bruce Willis movie Surrogates.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
might be right.
Yeah, that'd be
Which
cool.
I thought could have been. It's based on a comic. I
Do you
thought
know-
it could have been such a good movie, and I was just like, why didn't they just go for the moon and just be like, hey, Martin Scorsese, will you direct Surrogates with Bruce
With
Willis?
Bruce Willis.
Because I bet you would have been fucking awesome. It's such a
kind of-
great idea.
I'm kind of realizing that we are basically building our own Matrix. And we're just voluntarily going into the Matrix.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Well, again, I mean, if climate change fucks up the world in 200 years and it's just not nice to go outside, or
Yeah.
if we are on a spaceship going to Mars,
Well, we are on
and-
Spaceship Earth,
yeah,
Jack.
and you're in like a 20 square feet of the VR is probably gonna go a long way in like remedying stuff like that.
Oh, definitely. But I think we maybe in like 20 years, we probably will all have like a holodeck type situation in our houses, and we're
so
just gonna
cool.
like spend all our time doing that because what else are you gonna
I
do?
hope I
Maybe
don't-
society will crumble because all of us are just gonna be
That's
getting
the
porn star
problem.
blowjobs and
No, like
watching Iron Man 3 in the theater.
That's my big concern is we could easily, if we just stay on track, hit that in 10, 20 years. Or like President Trump could start nuclear war and
Please don't say President Trump.
and we're all just going to be fighting with sticks and stones.
It's too
And
real now, President Trump.
Yeah.
There's
It
gonna
scares
be
me.
there's gonna be like a caveman boy with 2 pine cones going, I have VR.
Yeah, right. Oh god.
It could go either way.
And all of that traces back to Wolfenstein.
Well-
so thank you, ID
Yeah,
Software.
let's go through them. So Quake, I believe these were just like this is like technical stuff, but you know each newer game invented
They
something
built
new,
on the
like
one before.
slopes.
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
you know there was eventually a game where you could actually go up a slope or down a slope. I remember when Doom 3 came out about 10 years ago. It was such a big deal because it was the
Yeah.
first next gen Doom, and everybody's like, it was Doom.
It was all right.
Yeah, it was just Doom.
Well, because I think Doom probably suffered a little bit from its overexposure. Like, it was so popular. Everybody has played Doom.
Yeah.
Like, everybody. And it's just, how much more, what more can you do with it, really?
Well, you would have to fundamentally change it because I don't know what Doom 3 is like. I'm sure it wasn't the exact same. I'm sure it had a lot of the tropes of the
But it's gonna be a first-person
shooter.
shooter. There's gonna be
Right.
monsters and demons and shit, and you're gonna shoot them.
But which is fine if you can come up with replayability in terms of deathmatch and stuff. But in that, basically, you would have to use the advancements. Even though you invented this, other people came and took what you did and that they couldn't have done without you, but they made it better. So Gears of War and games like that, they have cover. You can like hit a button
Right.
and now you have cover. Call of Duty, you can go prone. Halo, you've got the tool weapons and you can jump and stuff like that. Doom would
Right.
have to use those things to because they're better, and Doom has to use some of those. Whereas
incorporate all of that stuff.
I haven't played Doom 3, but I could see them saying, "No, that's not what Doom is. We're gonna stick to the Doom." And it's like, well, but that's it would almost
That's
be like
back in the 90s.
yeah, it would be
Yeah.
like if Robert Zemeckis, who's the most amazing special effects director of his day, made a new movie, and instead of using CGI and stuff, he was like, "No, I want to use the stuff I used that made Back to the Future work." And now
Right.
now the the special effects just look really dated.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was the case with Doom 3. The other case,
No, I have no idea,
You're
but-
right. That story and stuff has to be interesting, and Doom doesn't have that.
Yeah, well, it's an interesting story, but like, where do you go? Like, it's already kind of at the most extreme point.
I
Like,
guess
you
I
put the
mean-
guy in hell, which I think happened in Doom 2 anyway.
I mean, I'm sure there's things you could like Dead Space, which is a great horror survival game. I could see that very easily being adapted to be a Doom sequel. You just change a few world building things here and there, and
Right.
and that would have been a really cool take on. Like if they, I mean, I'm glad Dead Space is its own IP and its own original story because it's so good. But if somebody early on was like, let's buy Dead Space and brand it as Doom 3 or Doom 4, it would have been a huge hit. People would have been like, Doom did it again. It would have
Yeah.
been like the Casino Royale.
Doom
of
done did it.
Yeah, no, it would have been like a successful reboot, and people would be like, "This was awesome."
Yeah.
Maybe that's something they should have done.
Maybe. Missed
ha-
opportunity.
Like how Die Hard 3 adapted a spec script
Yeah.
that was not a Die Hard movie. It was actually
Nope.
originally it was bought to be a Lethal Weapon movie.
Right.
Cloverfield, the new Cloverfield was like that too.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a total spec. I don't know how it connects to Cloverfield. I don't want to know. I haven't seen the movie yet.
Caprica.
I don't
also,
wanna know.
Caprica was a really cool idea about AI and stuff, and for whatever reason, Ron Moore, who did Battlestar Galactica, is like, "Oh, I love this idea. Let's just make it Battlestar.
Make it a prequel to Battlestar Galactica.
Which it worked, but I also kind of wish they would have just left it alone as its own original thing because it was such
Yeah.
a cool concept.
Yep. Guys, do we have anything else to say
let's
about
see what
id?
else. Well, yeah, the topic's id, not Doom. What else have they made? I mean, like I said, Half-Life and Quake and stuff. They're all pretty much the same.
Was I right that id was Commander Keen? Because I'm not seeing it.
No,
I think you're
saw
right.
that.
I remember. I
Oh
played,
yeah, there's Commander Keen.
yeah, I played that game a lot.
So Commander Keen apparently came out of. It was originally supposed to be a port of Mario, of Super Mario
Really?
Brothers.
Really?
Yeah, I think I read that somewhere. It wasn't the same article that Jack read, but it was something else.
I liked playing. I had one game. I played I had an NES and I had a Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
And that was it. And in between, I played a lot of floppy disk games. I was a PC gamer.
Yeah.
I remember actually, my mom bought me Doom. I begged for it, and it came. And I was so excited. And it was 4 floppy disks to install.
Yep.
And my computer, I didn't have any knowledge of what specs are and stuff like that. And my computer was several years old, and I just didn't know that my computer couldn't run. I was like, oh, it's a disk. It fits the drive. It works.
Right. It must work.
And it just never worked. And actually, 50% of the games my mom bought, because it took. I don't think we ever realized until. Maybe this sentence right now I say is that's why they weren't working. The computer was just too old.
Yeah.
But yeah, she bought me Home Alone. She bought me Doom. She bought me
both classic games, Doom and Home Alone.
Where in Space in Carmen Sandiego. I was super excited about.
That's pretty cool.
And they all just collected dust. I couldn't play them. I would play the same Commander Keen game over and over.
Well, Commander Keen was damn fun. It was if you don't remember it was a little boy. He had a yellow football helmet, and it was a lot like Mario. It was a side scroller type thing. I always remember it being very bright, a lot of pinks and blues.
Yeah, it was fun. I remember Rage. I was going to talk about this. This was everybody was so excited. It was finally making an IP for the Xbox 360 generation. And it was supposed to be very good, very well done, just nothing new. But it's funny that I just read that wrong. I thought it said Rags, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." They have a game called Rags.
You can play as a pile of rags.
I was picturing like a cutesy puzzle app, but like with blood and gore.
It's about a cat named Rags who murders his own. Nice.
Yeah, what else we got here? I got Doom, Quake, Rage.
I never played Quake.
Yeah, it looks
Heretic
like
and Hexen.
Oh,
I remember
Hexen
those.
I had for Nintendo 64. That game sucked.
I don't really remember. I remember them existing.
So
that's
they
about
didn't
it.
do Duke Nukem, it looks like.
I guess not. I always associated Duke Nukem and Commander Keen very closely in my mind because the original Duke Nukem, way back in the day, was a lot like Commander Keen.
Really?
I think I only ever played.
Before it was a first-person shooter and the whole like Duke Nukem 3D
Oh, you
or
mean
whatever.
the medium?
Yeah.
But Duke Nukem, the character, is nothing like Commander Keen.
No, not
Keen's
in
not
the,
like,
in the story.
Yeah, no, that's what
Commander Keen is not a 14-year-old boy being like, "Fuck this, I'm gonna go."
Yeah, come get some.
Yeah, right, exactly.
American McGee. I never knew what that meant. Like the the Alice in Wonderland game.
Yeah.
I guess he was a level designer for
He's a
Doom.
guy. Yeah.
What's the Alice in Wonderland game?
It was American McGee's Alice. It was a computer game.
I've heard of that.
I bought it on PlayStation when I still had a PlayStation because they came out with a sequel, and if you bought the sequel, you could get a downloadable version of the first game, and I'd never played
horror
it.
games.
Yeah.
Is it because it's not first person? It's third person.
It's third person, and like I thought the idea of a horror Alice in Wonderland was kind of cool, and I tried to play it, and I just was not
I
into
think we
it.
glossed over this while I was setting up the VR. So we've established you really like the horror genre, but the first person's too much.
Horror movie genre,
Right.
yes.
Okay, what about Resident Evil games? Were they too? Because they scare the
Harry
shit
and I
out
were
of me.
talking about it a little bit. Yeah, I played them a little bit, but I don't think I ever beat a Resident Evil game.
Well,
and I was
it's
never
funny.
super into them.
I didn't have a PlayStation, but I played Resident Evil 2. It was really scary. I was into it. But Resident Evil 4 is when I became a big fan of the game series, and that was when it switched from survival horror to action horror,
Yeah.
where you have enough bullets and you've got guns and you're shooting them. And that was when I felt safer. It's like because now that the
a
object
whole
of the
different
game
thing.
isn't to like hold on to your bullets. It's make your aim, your aim counts.
See, I kind of prefer the survival
Oh,
piece,
that's a
though.
much better game.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
was
yeah.
just like easier to
Like
digest.
like a
It was the
problem-solving
Nash
kind of
Bridges.
thing.
It was the Nash Bridge. I know that's a callback.
That was a
to-
callback.
Yeah,
to
that's
our
Harry
Harry
Says
Says
Yes
Yes
to get that.
episode.
Oh,
but
man.
it's the Nash Bridges of Resident Evil
Now
games.
they're thematically linked, so you have to listen to Harry Says Yes to get the
Resident
full story.
Evil 2 is NYPD Blue. Resident Evil 4 is Nash Bridges.
Yeah, Resident Evil, they said shit and had a butt, just like NYPD Blue.
One of my all-time favorite Weekend Update jokes was Kevin Nealon's Weekend Update.
Yeah.
And it was after NYPD Blue had aired its premiere, and he says, NYPD Blue premiered where a character said the word dickhead for the first time on network television. After the hit ratings, MTV has announced its new show, Beavis and Dickhead.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
Kevin
Classic Dennis Miller. Not Dennis Miller, Kevin Nealon.
Classic Alice McGee.
Oh, man. But yeah, I never actually played the Alice game. I
Yeah,
bought
neither
it,
did I.
and now I've sold my PlayStation years ago. So.
It's just a horror game, but it's more about the art and the world and stuff.
Yeah, it was
And
just
actual-
it was like Hot Topic-y.
Yeah, it made like a
type
big
horror.
impact. I feel like on people who like didn't play it. Like I knew a lot
Yeah.
about it, and like I kept seeing it everywhere, but like I never. Played
It was very big in like 2001, I want to say.
All right,
But, yeah.
so I want to see what it is. Is like, is this it? Like they
Well, you
can't.
got the id, the
they
ego,
can't-
and the super ego. Okay.
They can't ride this this Doom train any longer.
Well,
I don't
apparently they
think.
were purchased by an outside company,
Where do you see it?
ZeniMax Media.
Acquired
I don't know what
are they
ZeniMax Media
doing?
is.
Looks like more of the same.
They own Bethesda, which does the Fallout games.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
Look at
okay.
in Dishonored.
So you're gonna get a Doom Fallout crossover,
But
maybe.
it looks like
Whoa.
so. if maybe that's
I've never played a single Fallout game, and I bet I would love them.
They're good.
But like we were saying, I don't have time.
Yeah, it's
And
hundreds of hours. Of
That's the problem. I really do love the Fallout games. I even bought like 2 Fallout apps that I saw people playing, like sitting next to me on the train.
Oh,
Yeah, I've
Fallout
heard about
Shelter
the
is
apps.
good.
Fallout Shelter.
Yeah.
And there was another one, the boy. Was it the HUD
Pep
boy?
Boy?
Pep Boy, yeah. But I just don't have time.
Yeah.
I also just bought or downloaded, I think it was free, a Star Trek RPG, massive multiplayer RPG, I think. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. I'm a huge Star Trek fan.
Yeah.
It's like, what am I going to play it? Like, the only times I really I can play with the app is when I'm commuting, and that's when I like to listen to podcasts. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's the only
exactly.
time I have to listen to podcasts.
I downloaded. Are you guys Rick and Morty fans?
Yeah.
They had Pocket Mortys. It was basically a Pokemon game.
Yeah.
And I downloaded it. I started playing. I was like, "This is awesome." And then I uninstalled it because I was like, I would get obsessed with this game if I don't just get rid of it because
it was good, but I was like, at a certain point, I was like, I play Pokemon.
Yeah.
This is fine.
I love Pokemon.
Yeah, it was really good.
Those are
I-
damn addictive
There's
games.
a new AR augmented reality Pokemon game they're coming out with.
Oh, I
called
saw that.
Pokemon
yeah.
Go.
You see
like,
them play in front of you?
Yeah, you have to like go around and like catch Pokemon like in the world and like just like a
Okay,
Squirtle
I'm
running
all
around.
in on that.
Yeah, it looks like really fun.
Do I need a 3DS or something?
No, it's just it's an iPhone app, and they also sell like a
Oh,
little
well,
watch.
I don't have an iPhone,
that'll,
but I
like,
will buy one
blink.
if I could play
I
Pokemon
like
in real life.
Yeah.
I like the scavenger hunt aspect. There are lots of games
Yeah.
like that, and I feel like, again, that's like, if I can't half-ass something like that. Like, I've been reading about people meeting in person and doing what's it
Talking
called?
about like Ingress,
alternate
is
reality
Google's
games
one.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
it's
I-
those people who made the Pokemon one.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so then it must be
And like,
pretty
I
good.
feel like that's made for me. Like, that's something I would love, but I can't. I have to like really sit down and learn how to do it and get into it,
Yeah.
and I don't have time.
Yeah.
It's you really, if you're working a full-time job, you have time for like one thing.
Yeah.
And, like,
Well, I'm going to make time for this Pokemon thing. I'm very excited. I'm going to look this up the second we're done
I
recording
have a
this
lot to say
podcast.
about Pokemon, but that's a topic in our.
Oh,
in
that's
our
definitely a
RTG,
topic in its own.
So
Yeah,
because we
yeah.
skipped it last week.
We did. So we got another tease about
So,
Pokemon.
but I'm not, long story short, I've never played Pokemon. So,
Wow.
Wow.
it's a good game.
That's what I hear. That's
If you
what I
like
hear.
product of its
RPGs,
time.
especially, I mean, that's what it is. But anyway,
I'm more into. I really like being immersed. I really that's my thing.
that's the difference between me and you, Jack.
Like I get a kick out of like 16-bit.
I
Like
dip
Paper,
my toe in.
Like I like Paper Mario and stuff. I've never played it, but I like the idea of it, and I can.
Paper Mario is great.
I can get enjoyment out of it, but I really love like the Fallout games and like the ones where they just get really realistic looking.
So
and
we
you have
are
the whole
actually
world.
pretty different because I much prefer I'm into this Pokemon idea, but really like 16-bit games was when it was the best.
No,
That's what I love.
like walking around Fallout or Vikings or I've never played Skyrim, but I feel like
it's
I would love it.
fucking
But I
crazy.
love just walking around the forest. I love it and I hate it because I'm like I have to look for everything and find every little hidden thing, and
Yeah.
I hate. I'm just like, oh my god, where is everything? But I also love that I'm walking around looking for it.
Yeah.
I played Skyrim twice and put like 100 hours into it. both
I'm
times.
dying to play it again. I just don't have the time.
I can loan it to you on Xbox.
I know. I still play. I'm still literally playing. I've wanted to play New Vegas and Fallout 4. I'm still 10 hours into Fallout 3.
Oh, wow.
I'm on the first mission. I literally did everything you could possibly do before the first mission that you have to do started.
Yeah.
I like to, level up so that the
Right.
game's easier for me because
Okay.
I'm not a very good video game player. And I'm just on the first mission, and then I did something stupid, and I was like, oh man, I'd have to go back and like replay a couple
replay
hours.
a bunch
So
of
it's like,
stuff.
I'll put it on the shelf for now. And that was literally 7 years ago. That was
Yeah.
2009.
Yeah, that sounds
And I
about
still
right.
have Fallout 3, and I still want to play it again. I mean, I'll probably have to restart the game from scratch now, but that pisses me off.
I'm still trying to beat Super Mario Brothers 3. I'm stuck in Giant World and I just cannot get out.
I finally did beat that a few years ago.
I remember beating that with my brother way back in the day, and that was a big day.
No, I again, this being bad at video games, and I've always identified as a gamer, stems back to those days where I never beat any of the Super Mario Brothers. I never beat any of the games I ever owned. I played.
Really?
I got a kick out of playing the same first 6 levels over
Yeah.
and over. Like Double
Yeah.
Dragon 2, I played all the time. I love playing the first 5-6 levels. I never got to like level 8.
Well, it was almost like what do they say? It's a bug. It's a feature, not a bug, of those earlier games where it's designed for you to replay those first levels a bunch of times. Like Mega Man is totally like that, where you have to memorize like where you have to go and what you have to do. There's a specific order you have to play the game to make it easier.
Yeah.
I like stuff like that. I love the Mega Man games. So I'm sure
would
that'll be a
love
topic.
stuff like that if I had the time to do it. But
Yeah,
again,
now
I
it's tough.
It's a pick up and play for me now because
Yeah.
otherwise there's nothing else I can do.
Did you ever play Echo the Dolphin?
I never actually did play Echo the
I played
Dolphin.
it for like 5 minutes. At my
we
cousin's.
talked about it once on this podcast, very briefly.
I like the beginning part when you're just swimming around and things are nice, and then it gets all scary and the aliens come or
I
whatever.
love exploring.
It's funny
I
that you
love
said
exploring.
that. There was a game for Wii called Endless Ocean, where there was no game. It's just
I
you
remember
are in
that,
the
yeah.
ocean exploring, and my wife loved it because she doesn't want to do anything. She just wants to explore a virtual ocean.
I don't want to get into detail because we have 2 minutes left, and because I'm assuming these are also topics, but the most transcendent feeling I ever got from playing a video game, and the VR has come close, but not quite, was the first time I played a Nintendo 64. That was the first
Really?
time where I've been trying to chase that high ever
Was
since.
it Mario 64?
It was Mario 64, where just walking around was so cool to me, and then... in terms of a short term, yes, playing it I played it in a Sears in like a demo video game console when my dad was shopping for clothes, and I was just like, oh my god, this was the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
But the next 6 months after that, when I finally did get a Nintendo 64, Pilot Wings, exploring the country with like the soothing music, it released some kind of serotonin in me that I just have never
You're
been able
chasing
to
that
recreate.
high
It
from
just
now on.
it was just such a cool. Again, transcendent might be the best word for it. There was something spiritual happening, which is ridiculous. It's Pilot Wing 64. It's playing as like a big guy named Tank with a corny mustache.
Yeah, right.
But there was just transcendent. Really, there was something spiritual about it. It's a combination of the immersive and the exploratory.
Interesting.
Which I love Paper Mario, but there's always that disconnect if I'm a two-dimensional.
Paper Mario though was an
bummer.
RPG where you can explore
Right,
the whole
but again,
world.
there's a disconnect.
I know. The visual is a disconnect
I
for you.
love how realistic. Again, the 64 did at the time, but especially the 360. And I'm kind of bummed that the new generation of consoles, which I don't have yet, the graphics jump hasn't been that huge.
Right.
I was like, all right, I guess we peaked.
Well,
Bummer.
and there's also a lot of retro gaming coming back. Like, there's a lot of smaller games on the app stores for the different consoles. So it's the best of both worlds for people like me, for people like you.
Real quick, we have 40 seconds left. Any of you guys interested in downloading the first ever Nintendo app game?
Oh, I have it.
Is it good?
I can't get past the part where like it looks at my face and makes a me because it makes me sad.
Oh, I thought you were saying it wouldn't recognize your face.
Yeah,
I actually don't know what you're talking about.
So Nintendo finally
put
came
out an
out with
app?
an app, and it's a huge deal because it's Nintendo, and
Yeah.
I've been so excited, but it looks like of no interest to me. It's a Me game, first of all. It's not a Mario or Zelda
that's
game.
kind of stupid.
It's called Miitomo. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's just
something like
mini
that.
games.
I'm gonna,
I haven't got past the first part.
I'm going to get it right now.
All right.
Good podcast.
Well, we have 6 seconds left.
Penises. Is that how we
Penises,
can fill the time,
The
right?
sequel to Tora Tora Tora.
All right.
That's our show. So thank you, Harry, for being on.
Hey, thanks for having me.
What,
Hopefully-
what have you learned today?
I learned that I'm terrified of VR horror games and I shouldn't play them.
That's a good thing to learn. I'm glad we could instill that. It's like when you touch fire for the first time. We had to instill that fear into you. Geez, I learned that I got to get this Nintendo game, and I'm downloading it right now.
I learned that until today, I really didn't. I always assumed as a kid, and then never thought back on it to fix this thought, that my computer, a Tandy 1000, was just a magic box that could play anything you could fit into the slot. And then apparently, no, the reason most of these games, very expensive games, didn't work was because the graphics cards and all that stuff was 5-6 years too old.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah, no, because my computer, my Tandy 1000, I was the first kid on the block to have a computer, and I had that computer until like 1999. So I was by the end, I was way behind everybody else. Yeah, it's interesting. All right, well, Harry, thank you for being on.
Hey, thanks
You
for
have
having
been
me.
a
guys.
terrific guest,
Thanks
Harry.
for having us. Again, if you haven't listened to Harry's show yet, and you want to hear us talk more, although we won't be talking about video games, we'll be talking about
But we may talk about the Ernest
Ernest
movies for a
series.
while.
Yeah, so if you want to hear
Nash
that,
Bridges comes up.
Nash Bridges
Bridges.
definitely comes up.
it's designed that way. You can either listen to the Nash Bridges setup first, or you can listen
Yeah.
to the references in this episode and then go back.
It's like Arrested Development Season 4, really.
Exactly. Check that out at harrysays.yes.com.
Check it out. Thanks, guys.
All right.
And Harry, your podcast and your own self, are they separate entities on Twitter or?
I'm at HC Nelson, which is the thing to follow. I'm pretty good. Having a lot of fun on Twitter, guys. Not verified yet, but we'll get there. And,
We'll get there.
We'll get that blue check for you.
At
Or a green shrug.
At Harry Podcast. There's another reference. At Harry Podcast on Twitter for Harry Says Yes, but it's just posted.
And your
Great.
Twitter was
At HC Nelson.
I'm at Jackie No Breaks.
I'm at Then Dan Says, and obviously the website for the show is wepodcast.com, wepodcast.com.
Yeah, we say
all that fun stuff.
wepodcast.com. It's this 90s percentile.wordpress, but the idea
Right.
is you go to
we're going to fold it all into one website.
you go to wepodcast.com and you can get to all of our other stuff from there.
Yes.
That's the hub.
Yes.
And
while you're there, click through the Amazon.
Yeah, click through the Amazon to support the show. That we have links to Amazon. Buy some of these games, maybe. Not
maybe.
the apps. Doesn't work that way.
Nope.
But nobody has a Fire phone. But check that out and check out our Simpsons podcast, worst episode ever, and check out our sync points. As mentioned at the top of the show, we have a Batman and a Superman. We have a commentary track for Batman '89, a commentary track for Superman Returns. Both commentary tracks better than the Batman vs Superman movie.
Yes. Well, you've seen it. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's
but,
better.
And our Home Alone 2 commentary track is probly better than that too.
Yeah, just check out all our commentary tracks.
Yeah, just listen to everything we've ever done.
Everything is at wepodcast.com. And
my name is Jack.
Okay. I gotta keep this thing open a few more weeks.
That's why I opened it up.
Well, I guess that's it. My name is Jack.
My name is Dan, and we'll see you in another decade.